You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast.
You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. My name is Sean Wilkie, and along with my awesome co host, we interview the innovators in this space. Ivan, please go ahead and introduce today's guest.
Hey, I'm Ivan Zach, and I'm very excited to introduce our guest today, Mark Hines. Mark is dad who loves bringing teams together to do great things. Having built multiple companies and platforms over the last 20 years, he's comfortable in many roles, but his most recent experience in the product realm. Outside of work, he hasn't considered what he does work in a long time. He loves spending time with his wife and two daughters, and he can't pass up a super innovative Saturday night dinner at home. Mark, welcome to the show. Thank you for finding the time.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
So, tell us about your company, Baxtr. What do you guys do, and what does it do for our industry?
Well, long story short, we give independent veterinary clinics the ability to launch and manage their own subscription pet care plan that's typically going to be in the form of a wellness plan. But we provide a cloud based software so that you don't have to build your own to manage a subscription program. It goes well beyond just recurring payments. We're doing things like notifications, all kinds of reportings and analytics, stuff like that as well. So it's a much more robust experience than what you'll find built into a PIMS.
That's awesome. Exciting time, given the economy and all of the uncertainty, everybody's looking to kind of grow revenue or save costs or kind of increase profit margins. And so it seems like no good crisis needs to go to waste. So it sounds like you guys are perfectly positioned to help clinics in this weird time. How's it been going? And when did you guys start? And why did you start?
That's a good question. I ask myself that all the time. Why did we start? It goes back a long way, actually. My team at Baxter and I have been working together, and we've been really good friends for a little over 20 years now. We met in the world of a cappella music production, go figure. So from there, naturally, I became a realtor, and then we got back together and started doing software in the subscription management realm. Actually built a very similar product in the dental space starting back in 2017 or so, and moved into the vet world, which, by the way, it's really nice to be in animal health. Animal health is so good. The people in this space are wonderful. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time here. But we built our platform. We actually released it out of our beta phase, I guess you could say, earlier this year. It's a fairly new product. We are not new to the product, but it is a new product to the industry. And yeah, so like why we got started, again, really good question. We're just really good friends. We're good at what we do. Each of us kind of knows our role, and we figured, why not work with dogs and cats? That sounds so much more enjoyable than in people's mouths.
So, how is the traction so far? I think there's a couple of products of that nature in our industry, and they've been kind of coming in and out. What is the traction so far? What do you hear from veterinarians? How are they receiving or perceiving this? Because as you said, there's different products that have it in them, and you're standalone with some other features, and that's always an innovation. Becomes tricky when you're either not the full solution, and they ask you and say, "Well, my PIMS has that, but you don't have the PIMS," or you have some features that are mimicking some other things. What is the general reception from the vets?
Another fantastic question. It's like you guys have done this before.
Only 300 times.
Yeah. So the reception is really good. It's very different from what we came from. The concept of a wellness plan or a subscription care plan at all is actually very well received. Everyone knows that those are good things. So that makes our job a lot easier for sure. Using software to do it is a bit of a struggle. Adopting new technology and adopting new practices within the practice, that can be a scary thing for a lot of clinics. So we of course try to make it as easy as possible to use our software and to adopt the new processes. But we very intentionally tried to make it a standalone product that you don't have to integrate with your PIMS, and you don't have to conform to the certain things that you have, because in our opinion, there's a better way of doing it than what is native to the PIMS. And the way some of the other outfits are approaching it, We've tried to give the power to the clinic. So the clinic can make their own decisions on what is best for the clinic and best for their clients and their patients. So our software is literally, it's a management tool. I am not trying to use someone else's idea of what you should do for your clients. We're trying to make it very easy for you to implement what you think is best for your clients.
So, Mark, one question that I have, there's lots of parallels between the dental space and the animal health space. The easy ones are, same kind of buyer persona. You have doctor owners that have credit cards and can make purchasing decisions, both in the realm of the healthcare space. But other than the buyer persona, there's some obvious differences. There's pets involved in one, there's not in the other. What are the learnings that you guys, I guess, achieved in the dental space done for you to take the vet space on by storm? Like, where are the parallels, or where is it just that you are good at building software, so you're building software again? Or, I'm not too sure of the parallels from an innovation perspective or any perspective between those two industries. Can you help me understand that?
Yeah, that actually kind of, it starts to address part of the why that we've done this. Running a dental practice and running a veterinary practice, first of all, I've never done either of those two things. I am not a dental practice operations manager or in the vet space, but I've seen a lot of each. The operations of any kind of healthcare practice, be it human or animal, they're largely the same. It's largely one and the same. The only difference is in the vet space, we're guaranteed 1 degree of separation between the person paying the bills and the entity receiving the care. We're guaranteed that in the animal space. So, but what I have learned is that in human healthcare, there seem to be, I don't want this to be perceived the wrong way, so I'm going to try to dance around the topic. It doesn't seem like anyone got into the vet med world to make money and become a thriving business person, where there are people in the human health space that did it specifically for that. So what I mean by that is, vets get into the space in order to take care of animals. They don't get into it to run a business. So what we're trying to do is give them some tools to help them very efficiently and effectively run their business a lot better. In effect, it kind of streamlines the operation for them. It puts their payments on autopilot, if you will, to an extent. Now, obviously, you're always going to have problems with a few of them, but our system is designed to kind of automate the handling of those problems. If somebody misses a payment, we're going to follow up with them. We'll eventually follow up with the clinic, let them know, hey, something's going wrong here. Might want to check it out, et cetera, et cetera. But, in general, that's we're trying to solve the problems of the practice. And in general, I think most people are looking at it like it's this big overwhelming thing, and it's really not.
Well, it's a big and overwhelming thing if you're going to try to build a piece of software or have a super complicated spreadsheet and collect hundreds of payments a month. But if you've got a piece of software that does that all automatically, it's not a big and overwhelming thing. And I guess that's exactly where the opportunity lies for your customers.
Yes. And what we're finding a lot of folks are doing are they've tried to set up their recurring payments in their PIMS or with their payment processor even. Some payment processors will offer, like if you sign up on the 13th, every 13th of every month, we'll run this payment. But from there, that's where our system shines, is if something goes wrong with that payment on the 13th, we're going to try and take care of it for you. Where a lot of these other systems, some of them don't even notify you that a payment has failed. They will just let you know after the fact when you go to check the record, by the way, this person hasn't paid in 3 months. Or something along the lines of, I've seen a lot of clinics that are actually, they have dedicated personnel. They're actually paying a human being, I would have to imagine $40, $50, $60,000 a year to run their monthly payments for 200 to 300 patients or whatever. And they've got to track down those payments. They've got to update the payment methods on their own. They've got to do all of this. They got to keep track of it, generate the receipts, send the receipts, do all that stuff. It would obviously not cost you quite that much to use our software. It's going to automate that entire process.
So, what is the most common plans that people are using, and do usually vets have that in mind, or do you have to sell them on the concept of having the plans, or more or less industry is used to that, and then now you can just automate the process that they already have in their head?
So, from what I gather, there's hardly anyone that thinks that a wellness plan is a bad idea. And from a client perspective, obviously, everyone wants a monthly payment. If I'm given the option of going into a vet clinic with I have a dog named Chloe. I don't think I've ever called her Chloe. It's always some random nickname that I come up with on the fly. But anyway, when I take her to the vet, I know it's going to be anywhere from $300 to $473, but I have no idea how much it's going to be, and it's always kind of startling and jarring and whatnot. If I could go to the vet and they're like, you know what, you can get all this stuff and then 10% off of any other thing that you want when you get here. If you have to come in for a, hurt leg, or, she's not eating or something like that, you got to come in for an emergency exam or whatever. If I know that I've got visits covered under a plan and I'm making monthly payments of, say, $40 a month or whatever, the clinic is making more revenue off of that. But I am way happier because it's more stable, it's more predictable, it's more transparent, it's more accessible for me. I mean, like, my guess is a lot more people would probably go to the vet if they could make the monthly payment. So, I think that, like, having the plan, taking care of animals from a preventive nature, that's no foreign concept. I think wellness plans got a bad rap a few years back, from corporate hospitals, probably with not so much a lack of transparency, but more like inclusions that aren't necessary, and more focus on the bottom line as opposed to the care for the animal. So that's kind of the gap we're trying to bridge. We're trying to give the independent vet clinic the ability to offer that same convenience that the corporate ones have been able to do for so long.
And Mark, do you allow the independents to structure their wellness plan however they like? And do you give them some samples of what they should do, or what's that look like?
Yes, it is. Jokingly, as a former colleague would say, it is completely customizable in that you can structure your plan however you want. Whatever you want to include in your plan is up to you. We do give you 6 templates to start with. 3 dogs, 3 cats, based on age range. It's pretty common stuff. And then your core vaccines and whatnot. And then if you want to offer discounts on boarding and stuff like that, we give you all that in the template for the plan. And you can set it to whatever you want. You can set your annual price and your monthly price separate from each other. It is not, we actually don't recommend matching those. So if you're doing $400 a year, we recommend doing $40 a month. If you do the math, that comes out to $480 a year. So you make more money off that, but it's the convenience of offering that monthly payment.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. What makes you different? I think is the next thing that comes to mind for me. There's a lot of other companies that are doing wellness plans. What makes Baxter different?
I think our approach to simplicity makes us very different. I think our hands-on experience just in supporting clinics in a subscription program, we've got a lot. I don't know that my competitors have any of that. I mean, the PIMS obviously do, but they're not quite doing the same thing that we're doing. Notifications alone, that is a major, major piece of the equation. I mean, just automating the conversation between, around the payments for a plan, that's a huge undertaking that our software eliminates for both the clinic and the client. So it's good there. I mean, another major differentiator that we are on the verge of releasing, I'm hoping by the end of this quarter, is a feature called monthly payment guarantee. We say MPG because that's too many syllables to repeat over and over. But MPG, we're actually, the client is going to pay a setup fee when they opt for the monthly payment. And then that setup fee is actually going to guarantee that the clinic receives all 12 monthly payments for that first year of the client. So, and statistically speaking, once you clear that first year, you don't need any more guarantee behind the client. If they've made 12 successful payments, they're going to be a good client for you.
So, do you also recommend sort of custom plans for emergencies or urgent visits? So, let's say, yes, there's a puppy plan, kitten plan, something that is predictable. But do you recommend doing the plans when there's, a condition happened that costs $4,000, and then here's the plan that you can pay for over the course of a year or couple?
Yes and no. Tracking a subscription like right now is going to be kind of tricky with our software, but a custom subscription for a like a chronic condition or something like that, yes, we do wholeheartedly recommend that. But with something like that too, if it's the thing where you need a $4,000 procedure today, We're actually partnered with a company called Verity that I think would be a fantastic solution for something like that. They're a guaranteed acceptance, and they give you the ability to do an in-house financing plan. And they're actually the company that is allowing us to do this MPG feature. So they guarantee that the clinic gets their payments and the client pays the fees to subsidize that guarantee. So that is, but a custom subscription mechanism where you can build a plan for a patient, that is definitely on our product roadmap. I don't have a release date for that right now, but it's in the works.
It's really interesting, especially when you have this MPG. For the clinic, they're guaranteed to get that revenue. That makes smoothing out all the bumps in demand throughout the year less dramatic. So it's going to be really interesting to see, like the crossovers between the insurance industry and wellness plans, because I think the wellness plans are ultimately better for the clinic and, depending on the circumstance, potentially better for the client as well.
Well, we actually, that's a major difference between the dental space and the pet space. We actually love the way pet insurance works because pet insurance has not yet, I fear, dipped their hands into the wellness side a lot. Like it's not their primary focus. Where in the dental insurance world, it's all about let's get in on the preventive care, and that way everybody pays more money. So it benefits the insurance company for sure, but it doesn't benefit anyone else in the chain. Pet insurance is still largely focused on catastrophic need. So it's, there's a surprise $1,500. That's where pet insurance really benefits you. So we don't recommend getting away from the pet insurance side. The wellness plan, the benefit of the wellness plan is definitely going to be with the clinic, but there's a difference in the human psyche when we're dealing with ourselves versus dealing with our pets. We are going to spare no expense for our pets, and we want the best for our pets. And it sounds silly to say out loud, I know, but if you think about it, sometimes you're sick and you're like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm not going to go see a doctor. I'm just going to let this ride or whatever. But we treat our dogs very differently, right? So, and you want that relationship with your veterinarian. And the wellness plan is a direct relationship between the client and the veterinarian. You're not going through a third party. Our software is facilitating the transaction, but your agreement is not with us. Your agreement is with your clinic. So there's all kinds of benefits to doing both the insurance thing for when it's needed and doing your wellness plan directly with a clinic.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, really, really interesting. Mark, we chew through all the time. This happens like literally every week, and I've got like 6 questions left. So we'll have to have you back and check in on your guys' journey. We like to wrap up every episode the same way. So we got a couple questions for you before we let you go. First is a book, a YouTube video, a TED Talk, something that you found inspiring on your kind of business journey and career so far.
Yeah, actually, there was a TEDx that started it all with the vet med thing, and it was by Melanie Bowden. And I can't say the title out loud because I think it has the F word. But if you if you search for her name with the TEDx, and it was about the mental health of veterinarians. We like to think that our product, in some small way, eases the burden of running the clinic and all the stresses that come with trying to say yes to everybody.
And last question that we usually ask, is there another innovator in this industry that you would recommend for this podcast?
Yeah, I would highly recommend Andrew McDonald with Verity. He's really driving an effort to improve access to care, and their product is leveraging technology for to do a lot of the lending stuff that traditional banks and whatnot try to stay clear of. So they're making it easier to say yes, and they're doing it with technology. I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you so much for listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. If you want to hear about our new episodes, please follow us on any social media channel. Also, you can check out our website at veterinaryinnovationpodcast.com. See you next week.